I never thought I'd be the guy posting something like this, but here I am. My name's Dave, and my wife Lisa has been with me for over 10 years. We've built a decent life. She's a bit bitchy and quick to throw fits, but she's gorgeous and sharp as hell. I always thought I knew her, knew what she was capable of, and I definitely thought I knew where her boundaries were. Turns out I was dead wrong about that. It started a few months ago when I began noticing strange things. Small stuff at first. She'd be acting distant, snapping at me over little things. She'd get home late from her book club, which I suspected was just her way of sneaking out with friends or whoever she was screwing around with. Plus, she'd suddenly be more interested in her phone, hiding it from me all the time, even when I was just sitting nearby. I'm not stupid. I could tell she was hiding something, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Then came the odd schedule changes. Lisa started canceling dates, claiming work was piling up or she was just too tired. But I knew. Her schedule, she wasn't that busy. She'd never been good at lying, but she was trying, and I could tell. I'd catch her in little lies here and there, but I kept quiet, pretending I didn't notice. I was waiting for a sign. I wanted a reason to confront her, but I was also scared of what I might find. One night, I got suspicious enough to do something I'd never really done before: install some hidden security cameras around the house, mainly in the living room, her office, and the bedroom. I didn't think I'd need them, but something just felt off. I told myself it was just paranoia, but I set them up. It was easy enough, and I figured if she was innocent, she'd never suspect a thing. I just wanted peace of mind. A few days went by, and I kept an eye on the footage when I wasn't busy. I was watching her actions, trying to catch her in a lie. Then the day finally came. I saw her slip out of the house late in the afternoon after claiming she was working at the clinic. She met with someone at a coffee shop I'd never seen her go to before. I didn't think much of it at first, but then I saw who she was with: this guy, Mark. I recognized him as one of my patients, a guy I'd been treating for a shoulder injury. That made no sense. Why was my wife meeting with a patient? I knew they'd had some flirtatious stuff at the clinic, but I never thought it would go this far outside of work. The footage was clear. They sat close, whispering, touching hands, their faces way too intimate for just friends. I could see Lisa's smile, that bitchy smirk she gets when she's scheming, and the way she looked at him, like he was her next meal. My stomach sank. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The woman I loved cheating with someone I trusted right in my own house of business I built from scratch. The worst part, I wasn't even mad at first. I was more stunned, numb. How could she do this? How could she cheat on me with my patient, someone I work with every day? This wasn't just some fling. It was happening in my house, my practice, with someone I trusted. It felt like a punch in the gut, and I wasn't sure how I was going to fix or end it all. I replayed the footage 100 times, trying to process what I saw, but all I could feel was this deep, cold rage building inside me. I knew I had to confront her. I had the evidence. I had every reason to tear into her right then and there. But I also knew she'd lie her way out of it like she always did. She'd deny it, come up with some bullshit excuses, tell me I was paranoid or imagining things. But I was. I'd seen enough. The betrayal was concrete. I just didn't know how I was going to handle it yet. I didn't sleep that night. I kept staring at the footage, replaying the scene in my head over and over. It felt like my world was shattering piece by piece. The worst part was the disbelief. You'd think that after everything I'd be angry or even just numb, but there was this deep hurt that I couldn't shake. How could she do this? With a patient? Someone I worked with, trusted, and maybe even considered a friend. That thought made me furious, but also so incredibly sad. The next day I knew I had to confront her. I'd been giving her the benefit of the doubt before, but now there was no denying it. I had the proof. I decided I'd catch her at home in the act, or, at the very least, corner her into a confession. I had a plan, timed my day so I'd be home early, pretending to be busy working on some administrative stuff in my office. I wanted her to slip up, to reveal herself, or better yet, just own up to it. When she got home that evening, she was her usual bitchy self, throwing around her high-pitched comments about how people are so damn rude these days and everything's a damn conspiracy when I asked about her day. I played along, acting like everything was normal. Then I casually brought up the schedule irregularities, hinting I'd noticed her meetings with Mark. Her face twitched, and she tried to brush it off, but I had her cornered now. I pulled out my phone, showing her the footage I'd taken. Her reaction was immediate. She sneered and crossed her arms. So what if I saw Mark outside of work? That doesn't mean anything, she spat. You're just jealous. Honestly, I don't know what you're so upset about. Maybe I just needed someone who paid me attention. Maybe I'm bored with your stupid rehab practice. Whatever, Dave, I don't owe you explanations. I felt a mixture of rage and heartbreak. I couldn't believe she was trying to spin this, trying to act like it was no big deal. Like I was supposed to just accept her lying, sneaking around, and cheating. You've been lying to my face for months, I said, voice trembling. And you're screwing around with my patient, someone I work with every day. Is that what you call bored? Or is it just that you're a selfish bitch who thinks she can do whatever she wants? She rolled her eyes and scoffed. Oh, please, don't start with your stupid accusations. Mark is just a friend. I don't even like him that way. You're overreacting as usual. You're just insecure, that's all. Maybe I should have told you earlier, but I didn't think you'd handle it well. Honestly, I've got no reason to cheat on you. You're not exactly a prize, Dave. That hit me like a punch. I couldn't believe her audacity, her bitchy tone, her lies, her blatant disrespect. For a second, I almost considered just walking away and letting everything blow up. But I knew I couldn't let this go, not without making her face the consequences. I told her I wanted her out of the house, that I was done with her bullshit, and her response, a loud, sarcastic laugh that made my blood boil. She stormed into the bedroom, slamming the door behind her. I was left standing there, feeling like my whole life had just crumbled into pieces. I knew I had to stay calm, but the urge to rip her apart was overwhelming. I was furious, betrayed, humiliated, and honestly a little scared. Not for myself, more for what this meant for us, for everything I thought we had. That night I couldn't sleep again. I kept thinking about how Lisa had lied, cheated, and how she'd been so damn cruel about it. The image of her with Mark haunted me, the sneaky meetings, the touchy-feely moments caught on camera. And the thing is, I didn't even know if I wanted to save this marriage anymore. I was torn between wanting to confront her again and just walking away. But I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going to let her get away with this without consequences. Whatever I decided, I was done playing nice. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a train. My mind was racing, trying to figure out what to do next. I knew I couldn't just pretend everything was okay, not after seeing that footage. I also couldn't keep living in this gray area. Either I confronted her again with a clear plan, or I walked away for good. I wasn't sure which option was worse, but I knew I couldn't stay passive any longer. Before Lisa even got out of bed, I decided I'd gather all the evidence I had, screenshots of the footage, her recent messages, anything that could give me a clearer picture of just how deep her betrayal ran. I wanted to be prepared, to make sure I wasn't caught off guard in the heat of an argument. I had no intention of letting her lie her way out again. I was going to make her face what she had done, no matter how much. She tried to deny it. I spent the morning compiling everything, taking screenshots of the footage on my phone, printing out some of her texts that hinted at her dissatisfaction with our marriage, her complaints about me not paying enough attention. I wanted her to see I knew exactly what she was doing, and that I wasn't going to be her doormat anymore. I even set up a recording device in the living room, just in case she tried to spin lies or make excuses when she got home. When she finally got back from her work shift at the clinic, her attitude was even worse. She was full of bitchy comments and eye rolls. I could tell she was angry, probably because she knew I was onto her, but she played it cool, at least on the surface. I didn't give her the satisfaction of confronting her right away. I waited until she was sitting on the couch, sipping her coffee, before I finally dropped everything on the table. I looked her straight in the eyes and laid out all the evidence I had. You've been screwing around with Mark, haven't you? I said softly, but with enough edge to make her flinch. I saw the footage. I know about the meetings, the way you sit close, touch him, smile at him like you're the only two people in the world. How long has this been going on? Her face twisted into a mask of defiance, that bitchy smirk she always wore when she thought she was in control. Oh, for God's sake, Dave. Are you serious right now? You're just overreacting. That's all this is, me being tired and stressed. Mark is just a friend. We talk about work, that's it. I don't know what you're so jealous about. You're just insecure as usual. I clenched my fists, feeling the anger boil over. Insecure? No, Lisa. I'm not the one sneaking around behind my back doing who knows what while I'm out building a business. You're the one who's been lying to my face, sleeping with someone I trusted in my own practice. You crossed every damn line there is. And don't sit there and pretend it's just stress. I saw how close you two are. Don't bullshit me. She rolled her eyes again and looked at me like I was a complete idiot. You think I'm stupid? Just because I have a little fun doesn't mean I'm cheating. Maybe you're the one who's got issues, feeling threatened all the time. Honestly, I don't know why I even put up with your insecure crap. Maybe I should just leave, then you'd realize how much you've lost. That made me angrier. I'd never seen her so bitchy, so blatantly disrespectful. I wanted to tear her apart, but I kept my cool. You're not leaving anywhere, Lisa. Not until we talk this through properly. You've been lying, sneaking around, and I want to know exactly how long you've been doing this. Because I swear to God, if you think you can just lie your way out of this, you're dead wrong. She scoffed, stood up, and started pacing around the living room like she was some queen dismissing an annoying servant. You're seriously pathetic. I don't owe you explanations. Get over yourself. I don't care what you think you saw. Mark isn't anything to me. Honestly, I don't even care if you want to blow this all up. I can find a better guy anyway, someone who doesn't act like some jealous psycho. I felt my jaw clench so tight it hurt. This was who she was, the bitchy, lying, manipulative woman I'd married. I'd always thought she was just a little high maintenance, but this was full-blown betrayal. I realized I was done pretending I didn't see it. I was done listening to her bullshit. I told her I was leaving the house for a bit to clear my head, and that when I came back I wanted her to be honest with me for once. She just sneered and said she didn't care what I did. That was the last straw. I grabbed my keys, left the house, and went for a drive, trying to process everything. Part of me wanted to tear the whole thing apart. The other part just wanted to disappear and forget it ever happened. But I knew I had to face the brutal truth. My wife was cheating on me with someone I trusted, and she didn't even care enough to hide it anymore. I didn't know what I was going to do next, whether I'd stay, fight for the marriage, or just cut my losses and walk away. But one thing was clear. My world had just been turned upside down. And everything I thought I knew about her, about us, was a lie. I spent the rest of the day driving around aimlessly, trying to keep my mind from cracking. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her sitting there. Those smug, bitchy looks she gave me, the way she thought she was untouchable. It was like a punch in the gut every time I remembered that she'd been lying to my face for months, maybe longer. The worst part was feeling so betrayed and helpless, like I was just some fool who'd been played by someone I trusted implicitly. By the time evening rolled around, I knew I couldn't keep running from it. I had to make a decision. Was I going to confront her again? Call her out in a way that would make her realize I wasn't going to be pushed around? Or was I just going to give up and walk away? I wasn't ready to be the guy who just accepted being cheated on, but I also knew I couldn't keep living in this mess forever. So I went home, knowing I'd have to face her. I wasn't planning on yelling or throwing punches. I just wanted to get my point across. I wanted her to see I wasn't the weak, naive guy she thought she could manipulate. When I arrived, she was busy in the kitchen, pretending to be innocent like she hadn't just been caught red-handed. Her bitchy smirk was still there, and she looked at me as if I was some kind of joke. I took a deep breath and laid it all out. Lisa, I saw the footage. I know what you've been doing. Meeting Mark outside of work, sneaking around. This isn't just some stupid fling. You've crossed a line I never thought you'd cross. I don't care what you say or how much you lie. I know about the affair and I want to hear the truth from you, now. She looked at me, rolling her eyes, and then snapped, "Oh, please, you're losing your mind. I don't know what you think you saw, but you're just paranoid. Mark means nothing. We're just friends and you're blowing this all out of proportion. Maybe you're the one who's got issues, not me." I felt a surge of anger rise up, enough to make me shake. "Stop the bullshit, Lisa," I saw. "The way you looked at him, how close you were, touching him. Don't even try to deny it. You're cheating on me with one of my patients. While I'm out building this practice with my own blood, sweat, and tears, you're the one who's been lying and sneaking around. I don't know how you sleep at night, but I do know this. This marriage is over if you don't come clean right now." She stepped closer, her bitchy smirk still plastered on her face like she was trying to push me into losing my temper. You're just jealous. That's all it is. You're insecure and you can't handle the fact that I'm finally getting what I deserve. I don't need some spoiled, control freak husband telling me what to do. Maybe I should just leave, then you'll see what life's like without me. I clenched my fists, fighting every instinct to punch her. I'd never been the type for violence, but her words were pushing me to the edge. You're a selfish, lying bitch, Lisa. I don't care what you say anymore. I'm done. If you think you're just going to walk out and screw around behind my back, you're dead wrong. This ends now. She scoffed, turning on her heel, heading toward the bedroom. Whatever, Dave, do what you want, I don't care. You're just a man-child stuck in his little world. I'll be out of here soon enough and you'll be crying your eyes out. That was the moment I realized I couldn't take her anymore. Not her lies, her attitude, her constant bitchiness. I told her I was done, that I'd be packing some of my things and leaving for a while. I didn't want to argue anymore. I just wanted space to think and get some clarity. Deep down, I knew I couldn't trust her again. Not after what I saw. She had crossed every line and she didn't even seem to care. As I packed a bag and prepared to leave, I couldn't help but feel this strange mixture of relief and heartbreak. On one hand, I was finally standing up for myself, taking control of the situation. On the other, I felt like I'd lost the woman I'd once loved, the woman I thought was my partner in everything. The girl I married, who I thought was loyal, was nothing but a liar and a cheat. Now I had to figure out what was next. Do I try to save this mess, or do I walk away and start over? The only thing I knew for sure was that I would never trust her again. And honestly, that realization was almost worse than her cheating itself. I spent that night sleeping in my car, trying to clear my head. It's ironic, I built my entire career on healing others, and now I was the one shattered by betrayal. I kept running the footage through my mind, replaying every little detail. The way her smile faded when she saw I'd caught her, the way she lied effortlessly, and that smug look she always got when she thought she'd gotten away with something. It hit me hard that she'd so easily crossed every boundary, not just with Mark, but with me too. The next morning, I knew I had to make some choices. Staying in limbo wasn't an option anymore. I had to decide if I was going to fight for this marriage or cut it loose and move on. Honestly, part of me still wanted to believe there might be some way to salvage. Was left, but deep down I knew that trusting her again wasn't possible, not after everything. I called a friend, Mike, another guy I knew who'd gone through a divorce, just to talk things out. I needed perspective, someone who'd been through the same kind of hell. I told him what I'd discovered, how she'd lied and betrayed me, and how I felt trapped between wanting to forgive and wanting to burn everything to the ground. Mike listened patiently, then said, "Look, man, you gotta do what's best for you. If you're done, then you're done. You can't fix a broken trust overnight. Maybe it's better to walk away, start fresh, and find someone who actually respects you." That hit me hard. For the first time in days, I allowed myself to consider the possibility of leaving her behind. I thought about all the years we'd shared, all the plans we'd made, and how she'd just thrown it all away for some stupid affair. But I also thought about what I deserved, someone loyal, honest, and respectful. And she clearly wasn't that person anymore. Later that day, I went back home to face the wreckage. I told Lisa I'd decided to leave for a while to give myself space to think. I didn't tell her I was planning to divorce her outright, but I made it clear that I wasn't interested in pretending everything was okay anymore. She tried to act innocent, saying I was overreacting, that she loved me and it was all a mistake. But I wasn't buying it. Not anymore. I packed some clothes, grabbed my laptop, and took everything I needed to survive a few days away. As I was leaving, she said something that still makes my blood boil. "You're just too insecure, Dave. Maybe if you weren't so controlling, this wouldn't have happened." That's when I realized she'd been gaslighting me all along. She was trying to make me feel responsible, shifting blame like she always did when she got caught. That night, I stayed at a friend's place trying to piece my mind together. The shock was wearing off, replaced by anger at her, anger at myself for not seeing it sooner. I kept asking myself how I'd missed all the signs, how I let her manipulate me for so long. I told myself I'd never let Her do this again, not to me, not to anyone I cared about. What's been hardest is realizing how much I trusted her, how much I believed she was my partner, my confidant. And now I see her for what she truly was, a selfish, manipulative user. I don't know what I'll do next. Maybe I'll try to fix things, maybe I'll move on. But I do know this: I refuse to be the guy who gets played and allows it. I deserve better, and I'll find it. That's the only thing I'm holding onto right now. In the days that followed, I kept my distance from Lisa. I didn't answer her calls or texts. Honestly, I was done playing her game. I needed to process everything, to really understand how deeply I'd been betrayed, and to start figuring out what my life looked like now. The house felt empty, colder somehow, like my whole world had shrunk to just me and the silence she'd left behind. I spent a lot of time reflecting on what I'd learned about trust, boundaries, and how easy it is to get blindsided when you think you've got everything figured out. I used to believe that loyalty was the foundation of a marriage. I thought honesty and respect came naturally when two people loved each other. Turns out I was naive. Lisa showed me that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones capable of the deepest betrayals. It's a brutal lesson, but one that's made me stronger. The thing that hit me hardest was realizing I had to rebuild my sense of self. For so long, I defined myself as her husband, her partner, the guy who was supposed to fix her when she was broken. But now I see that I need to focus on me, my work, my future, my mental health. I started going to therapy, not just to deal with this betrayal, but to make sure I don't get caught in the same trap again. Trust is fragile, and I refuse to let anyone else manipulate or deceive me like that again. As for Lisa, she's still trying to reach out. I've blocked her number, erased her from my social media, and cut all contact. I don't need her apologies or her excuses. She's made her choice, and I've made mine. I hope she realizes someday what she lost, not just me, but the respect she threw away. But I'm done chasing her or trying to fix something that's irreparably broken. Looking back, I have no regrets about confronting her, about gathering the evidence, about standing my ground. It hurt like hell, but it also freed me. I see now that I was desperately holding on to a dream, one where we'd grow old together, trust intact. That dream died the moment I saw her with Mark. And though it's painful, I know I have to move forward without her. This experience has taught me something invaluable. Never ignore the warning signs, no matter how much you want to believe in the best. People have their limits, and once crossed, trust is almost impossible to fully restore. But life goes on. It always does. And I owe it to myself to find happiness again, to rebuild from the ashes. I don't know what the future holds, and honestly, I don't care to plan too far ahead right now. What I do know is that I'll keep going, keep working on myself, and remember that I deserve honesty, loyalty, and respect. No more secrets, no more lies. Just me, standing tall and ready to face whatever comes next without her.